Little impromptu live stream here, guys. Make sure that it's all working there. Looks like it. All right. Now we're public. Now we are public. Oh, golly gee, guys. What a day. I've done all of nothing so far today besides this. But I figured I'd hit you guys a little Monday stream. Hey, Twiddler. How you doing, man? A little impromptu Monday stream. And believe it or not, so impromptu, we're even talking about Magic today. So, let that sink in. Singing home on lunch. Nice, there you go. You work from home, Twiddler? That's really nice. Or are you just close enough to work that you can just eat at home? Because that's also nice. Oh, man. Well, for at least those of everybody who's watching the VOD, right? I wish I'd get more done. 8 minutes. Oh, there you go. Perfect. Well, that's nice, right? You know, a buddy of mine who used to do that too, he would, he'd be able to, like, go home and just eat when his lunch happened. Or if he was, he worked at a warehouse, and when they were waiting for trucks to come in, they'd have, like, hours between trucks showing up for deliveries. And his whole job was just to unload the stuff. So if trucks were late or running late, he had nothing to do. So he only lived like, 10 minutes away from his work. So he just like went home and just told his boss to call him when he would still get paid. So that's really cool. It was a great, like, obviously a union thing. So that was good. But for those of you joining us here on this VOD, because I'm sure they may watch the VOD afterwards, I'm not too sure. But today we are actually going to be talking about all of the new uncommon and common cards that are coming out in Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. So we are not talking about the rares, we're not talking about the mythics, we're not talking about the foilings, we're not talking about any of that. We are talking strictly about the cards that come in uncommon, specifically for Pauper EDH purposes, and common, which are for Pauper and Pauper EDH purposes. So, also, like, the uncommons and commons, I'm sure there's a kitchen table format people can do where they run uncommons as well as commons, and just keep it at that rarity level. So we're talking about those, right? Again, we're getting into very budget stuff right now, so I want to make sure that we don't forget about these other cards that are coming in the set. I have yet to see anything from the set other than some of the rare cards that were spoiled, and I only catch them as glimpses on Twitter. So pretty much most of what we're doing here today is we're just going to go over everything and check some stuff out, and go from there and talk with you guys in chat. So let's go ahead and take a quick little peek here at our... Oh, I knew that was going to happen. This one. That's me. Then I need me. That's me. So we'll go over each of these here, kind of check them out, right? I have the Lord of the Rings set. Rarity is uncommon and below. We'll also probably be checking out the Lord of the Rings Commander set as well, simply because those cards are still going to be available for use in these, but I think the only new things they made in the in the set for the commander stuff was rare. So, all right, sounds good, Twiddler. Thanks so much for stopping by, my man. But we'll check it out regardless, because I do want to see kind of what everything's about, see if there's some cards that may be good. I don't know what is really considered super good and super not, but some cards seem more busted than others, so I do want to take a look at them. So first we have Arwen's Gift here. A 3 neutral, 1 blue for a sorcery. Spell costs 1 less to cast if you control 2 or more legendary creatures. Scry 2, then draw 2. I feel like it's not super... like useful, because at most you have to have 2 legendary creatures on the board, and it still costs you 2 and a blue. So still kind of expensive for that, but I mean, could be good. Could be worse. Got Arwen in a really, really cool outfit though. Then we have Arwen again, another Arwen card with a green and blue. So Simic. Simic colors for Arwen looks like legendary creature Elf Noble. When you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Scry 2. So it seems like a lot of Arwen's mechanics are probably going to be based around scrying, I'd imagine. I'd imagine, at least, from what it sounds like. But not bad. A 2/2 for 2, right? That pumps if you scry. Obviously, on itself, it's an expensive scry. So, you know what? Let's actually just take a look at the commons first. I feel like that's going to be... I feel like that's just going to be easier. Take a look at the commons first. And then work our way up to uncommon. So, Arwen's Gift we went over. Bag and Porter. Whenever Bag and Porter attacks, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. I feel like that's really good into, you know, obviously there's not a lot of like legendary creatures in common and like commoner, right? And obviously you can have a legendary creature in uncommon for like PDH reasons, but pretty good. So a 4/4 for 4 that gets a buff. I would say by itself not great. It's probably great for like drafting this set. Banish from Edoras. This spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets a tapped creature. Exile target creature. So for 2 and a white, you can exile a tapped creature. Or for 4 and a white, you can exile a non-tapped creature. That's expensive and not very worth it, I would say. Although, tapped creatures being things like walls, too, you can always go ahead and do that. So, I guess it's not a terrible card, but it's still pretty expensive compared to the other stuff that you could probably exile with it. Battlescar Goblin over here. Whenever Battlescar Goblin becomes blocked, it deals 1 damage to each creature blocking. That's okay. It's okay in, like, Pauper, maybe? But, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Loki. Like, 5 for exile is not so great. Even 3 for exile is, But Battlescar Goblin seems like it's alright. It's just Javelineer, or Goblin Javelineer, but like for each creature blocking it. So that is pretty cool, but it's probably not actually as good as one would think. If it dealt extra damage to the player, that'd be different. But Bewitching Leechcraft. 1 in a blue enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature. Yeah, true. Enchanted creature has if this creature would untap during your untap step, remove a +1/+1 counter from it instead. If you do, untap it. This creature would untap during your untap step, remove it. Okay, so it's a way to remove counters from your opponent's creatures as a cost to untap the creature. I feel like there's better removal and better ways to stop that than just paying 2. I don't know, that just doesn't seem fun. Birthday Escape, draw a card, the ring tempts you. That's probably got good. So I'm hoping to make a video on it, but I'm really curious to see what the ring tempts you is going to bring to Pauper and bring to PDH, because like the initiative thing rocked Pauper. It rocked Pauper. It rocked anything, right? Most things it rocked. Legacy it rocked. It did all this stuff, and they had to ban a lot of cards in Pauper that had initiative because it was a big deal. So I wonder whether or not the ring tempting you thing is also going to be big enough, because in a sense, you just need to tempt. You need to be tempted 4 times. Once you are tempted that 4th time, any single creature you get on the board that can be that allows you to tempt, or a card that allows you to tempt, will get you a super powerful card. I mean, like what the what was the no, not this. Hold on. Let's see here. Panic. But hopefully you're doing good, Loki. Welcome on in. I want to find the card. Here it is. So the one ring, it's legendary. So making a creature legendary is interesting, because in Pauper you're not getting many legendary creatures. So you can use some legendary synergy-ish with it, but not really. Can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. So this is going to be really, really good into like Dimir Beasts or Dimir Leviathans, because they can just get stuff through. Whenever you're Ring Bearer, then the second time you get tempted, Listener Health plus Assault Stroke plus Mutagenic Growth times 2 is your only Pauper combo. I believe it or not actually entirely sure what that one will do, what that one does. I haven't read up on the listeners. I know like a lot of the mainline ones. I'm not sure if that is one of them there, Cosmic. But I mean, I'm sure you're probably not going to get much out of it. I don't expect much to happen in Pauper, but thanks, Cosmic. But yeah, the second time you're tempted, your Ring Bearer attacks, draw a card, and then discard a card. So you do get some filtering. The third time you're tempted is whenever your Ring Bearer becomes blocked by a creature. That creature's controller sacrifices it at the end of combat. So that's pretty good, considering it gets rid of anything. It's going to stop people from wanting to block. Let alone, you wouldn't be able to block it if it was greater anyway, so I don't know. And then the fourth one, obviously, when your Ring Bearer deals combat damage to a player, each opponent loses 3 life. So the more you're tempted, the better the ring gets. And so if you continuously can do that through here, is pretty nasty. Second turn infinite kill. Oh. Alright. I'll have to check that out. I love seeing good Pauper lists. I can't wait to be able to like play Pauper more frequently, hopefully. Find a nice Pauper community in Colorado. Bombadil's Song. I mean, obviously, pay 1 blue, draw 1. The ring tempts you. Nice card. I think that's going to probably find play in ring tempting decks. If it's a mechanic that doesn't break the format. Bombadil's Song. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until the end of turn. The ring tempts you. So again, another ring tempting card, and it gets hexproof, which is pretty cool. At least until the end of turn. Brandywine Farmer. Enters or leaves the battlefield, create a food token. Okay, so 2 and a green for a 1/1. Stats kind of suck, but you do get 2 food tokens. Not sure if this is something people are going to utilize in Ephemerate or anything, but it's an Ephemerate target. Breaking of the Fellowship. 1 in a red sorcery. Target creature an opponent controls deals damage equal to its power to another target creature that player controls. The ring tempts you. Okay. That's kind of interesting. So you get to have your opponent's creature deal damage to another creature. So that'll also be really good for those Delver or those the Gurmand Anglers and the Valerian Terrors and all that stuff. It doesn't help with walls though. And it also doesn't really help with Bogles either. Captain of Umbar. 2 generic and a blue. Okay, 1 tap, draw a card, then discard. So 2/3 for 3 with a draw ability, with a filter ability more specifically. Card's not great. Don't love it. Cast into the Fire. 1 in a red. Choose 1. Cast in the Fire deals 1 damage to each of the 2 target creatures or exile target artifact. Now that is pretty good. At instant speed, being able to exile an artifact, especially with affinity decks being a thing, that's not bad. Not a bad card. Not a bad card, I'd say. I don't know, what do you guys think? You think Casting the Fire is going to see some play? Pretty interesting thing there. Let's see. Chance Met Elves, 2 and a green. So it's 3/2 for 3. When you scry, put a +1/+1 counter on Chance Met Elves' ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, right, Deal? That's what I'm saying. Also, welcome on in. You're doing good. Elves are meh. Don't really like elves. Sirith Ungol Patrol. Pay 1, tap, sacrifice another creature, so it's already a lot to do there. To draw a card, then create a food token. I don't think there's a lot of like sack outlet stuff that they're doing, especially for draw power. I feel like you don't need to do that. This is just murder, right? 1 and 2 black. Destroy target creature. The ring tempts you. This is murder with a ring tempting ability. Deceive the Messenger. Target creature gets -3/-0 until end of turn in a Mass Orcs 1. Mass Orcs in blue could very well be another big thing. I'm imagining a Mass is going to be pretty cool. -3/-0 though. I mean, like, it's okay to like prevent some stuff, but I don't think it's going to be good. Dreadful as the Storm. 2 and a blue. Target creature has base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. The ring tempts you. Nothing about MTG current formats, but oh, not a problem, Riddler man. Yeah, so this is I'm mainly like like I said, a lot of the stuff I want to talk about for the games that I play is going to be based around the budget formats, and so we're talking right now about Pauper, which is just like Commoner, but in Magic, right? So we're going over some of the new stuff here, checking out some of these things, seeing kind of what they are, I guess, like doing my own judgment of their power, right? But just kind of seeing what they have, right? Because I think there was a card that I saw that is really going to do some nasty stuff for Pauper. So I'd be curious to see what's going to be in here. Dundane Blade. It's a 1 in a white for an artifact equipment. You equip creature gets +2/+1. You can equip it to humans for 1 mana, but you can equip it to 3 for anything. So equip 3 for anything. That's not great. Dunland Cerebrane? Urbane? Not sure how to say that. Bird Horror. Flying when Dunlane Cerebrane enters the battlefield, amass orcs 2. So it's a 3-cost 1/1 with flying that makes you amass orcs 2. So it gets you a 2/2, a 1/1 with flying for 3 mana. I guess the value is there, but I don't know if it's going to be good. Again, you're either probably going to see a lot of amass or you're going to see a lot of ring tempting. Eagles of the North. Flying, it's a 5/1/3/3. So 6 for 3/3. For flying, when Eagles of the North enters the battlefield, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain first strike till end of turn. Also is plane cycling. This card's trash. Easterling Vanguard. When Easterling Vanguard dies, amass orcs 1. Okay. Yeah, sadly, the Eagles kind of suck. The Dunland ones are way better than these Eagles here. Like, a lot of this high-cost stuff is just hard to pull off in Pauper because a lot of your stuff costs, like, well under 6 mana. And still combos off super, super well. So... yeah. Also, like, imagine doing this and then getting lightning bolted. Like, it's just not. That's 6 mana to get lightning bolted. This dies to removal. Not cool. Vanguard also kind of sucks, right? It's got to die to amass orcs, and it only amass orcs 1, and it's a 2 mana 2/1. Not great. East Farthing Farmer. When it enters the battlefield, create a food token. And then when you do create, target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each food you control. I think that could be good for ephemerate purposes, but I don't know if there's going to be a lot of, like, food stuff happening, you know? Like, I don't know how many food decks are going to enter into the ephemerate world, but maybe they will, right? Although a 3 mana for a 2/3, it's at least got the butt, but it doesn't have much in regards to its power. It also, again, it's got the ETB, but, like, that's it. It kind of does nothing after that, so... and you also have to keep the food tokens, right? Like, unless you're playing some kind of, like, Voltron flying thing, it's not really worth it. Eastmark Cavalier. 2 mana, 2/2. Vigilance. When Eastmark Cavalier deals damage to a goblin or orc, destroy that creature. Super situational, not very good into Pauper. Elven Farsight. 1 green. Scry 3, then you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, draw a card. Okay, that's cool. Essentially allowing you to draw. Oh, yeah. In draft, that's pretty good. It definitely is a draft card. I think a lot of these cards tend to be pretty drafty. Yeah, Farsight's nice. Scrying 3 is huge, especially with a lot of the stuff that, like, is in the Simic colors for this set is based on scrying. You get, like, benefits from scrying. So being able to do that is really, really good. You scry 3, and then you get a creature to your hand. Because, like, 1 out of your 3 cards is probably a creature. For 1 mana, pretty good. Enraged Horn. 4 generic 1 green for a 4/5. So 5 mana for a 4/5. God, I have to burp. Or yawn. I don't remember what the heck I'm doing. Gosh, excuse me. Let's see. Yeah, in range horn, creature, tree folk, trample. When it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Not worth it. Not worth it. Unless, like, the ring tempting is, like, the whole point behind your deck, there are cheaper cards that can do that, I'm certain. So, Ents Fury. 1 and a green. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control if its power is 4 or greater. Then that creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn and fights target creature you don't control. So technically it's +2/+2. Technically it's +2/+2 and fight. I mean, I guess that's alright if you're playing like big beefy stuff. Maybe like Simic Beasts or something, but like Dimir is much better in that case. Erebor Flamesmith, 1 in a red for a 2/1. When you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Erebor Flamesmith deals 1 damage to each opponent. Not terrible. Yeah, the first plus is only a +4 power, right? So that's it's hard to get there, right? But obviously, if you have like big beefy green stuff as a deck, it is quite niche. Yeah, that is true. Dwarf Artificer, I feel like the only time this is ever going to be super useful is if you are going to be able to play it and then play like 2 to 3 instant or sorceries after playing it and have them like not be countered, because 1 damage is okay, but it's only got 1 as a toughness, so you're not really getting much out of it. But it is there. Yeah, I think there are better cards. Isn't there? There's another card that like Thermo Alchemist is like a better one because it's like a wall and it doesn't die to removal, but you have to tap it. But then like every time you play an instant, you can untap it, right? So I think Thermo Alchemist is probably still a better choice. Errand Rider of Gondor, 2 and a white for 3/2, so 3 for 3/2. An Errand Rider of Gondor enters the battlefield, draw a card. Then if you don't control a legendary creature, put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. So that cares a little bit more about whether or not you have the ring tempted you or not, but kind of niche. Geyser removal, not very great. But it's also a filter. I don't see it having use. Unless there's like some human synergy thing that I'm not sure of. Not great. Escape from Ornthak. 1 white instant. Target creature gets +1/+3 and gains flying until end of turn. Untap it. Not terrible. Not terrible. +1/+3 and flying? I don't know. That could be good. Could be good in things like Bogles, right? Well, Bogles, yeah, Bogles is green-white. Could be pretty good. Esquire of the King, 1 white. 1 white for a 1/1. Pay 4 and a white to tap, and then creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Ability costs 2 less to activate if you control a legendary creature. Not good. 0 out of 10. Don't like that. Not a good card. Fire of Orthak. A 3 and a red. Destroy target artifact or land. Creatures without flying can't block this turn. Huh. I feel like it's too expensive. Obviously, well, now that I'm thinking about it, destroy target artifact or land is good, because I think I think this is good because you get to destroy things like Tron lands. But it's all right. Fog in the Barrow Downs. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature is a spirit and can't attack or block. Yeah, I guess it's all right. I mean, it's removal, but like not really. Forest. Galadrim Bow. 2 and a green. Flash, when Galadrim Bow enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Untap that creature. Equipped creature gets +1/+2 in his reach. I guess that's okay if you're trying to like go on the defense from flyers. But +1/+2. Yeah, no, you don't often see land hate. I mean, there are cards that are land hate. But you really don't see it too often, I would say. But the problem with that is, like, even if you did this, you know, even if you... Well, that's not true. There is a lot of land hate. I think Hanzu destroys lands? I can't remember which one it is. But, the problem with this that I see is that a lot of people are running affinity decks, artifact affinity more specifically, and the artifact lands have indestructible. And that this just does nothing to them. Like 4 mana for nothing. So, but destroying Tron lands isn't terrible, but for 4 mana, I think at that point you're probably better off racing a little bit. Especially since you know they'll have more than 1 copy, right? So, because like with Tron lands it's hard, right? Because you need all 3 of them in order for you to get a bunch of extra mana generated. But if you destroy 1, you know they're going to have more in the deck, and they have ways to search those out. So it seems to be fairly okay. Galadrim Guide. When it enters the battlefield, scry 2. 4 for 3/4. Oh, is that Legolas? That is Legolas. Galadrim Guide enters the battlefield, scry 2. Exactly, yeah. Yeah. So, not super great. I feel like you could do better things with 4 mana. Like deal 6 damage with 2 lightning bolts. Or, I'm sorry. Deal probably more than 6 damage with a lightning bolt. 2 lightning bolts and some other stuff, so... Generous Ent. Generous Ent enters at 5 and a green, expensive. But it's a 6 for a 5/7, which is pretty good for rate. Reach. When Generous Ent enters the battlefield, create a food token, and you have 4 cycling. I don't really love it, honestly. Like it's got reach, which is cool. But if it had something like Convoke, maybe a little bit different. But Gimli's Axe, 2 and a red, +3/+0. As long as it's equipped, creature is legend. As long as the equipped creature is legendary, it has menace. Did they make Legolas have black hair? I thought that... I don't know. I thought that is supposed to be Legolas, and this is supposed to be Gimli, and this is supposed to be somebody else. But maybe that's supposed to be Legolas, and this is supposed to be Gimli. Let's see. I don't know. I honestly haven't seen the Legolas card yet, so... Gimli's Axe, kind of trash. Gimli's Fury. Okay, 1 and a red, target creature gets +3/+2 until end of turn if it's legendary. It also gains trample. Could possibly be good if you're playing like a red ring deck. Glorious Gale, 1 and a blue, counter target creature spell. If it was legendary, the ring tempts you. That could be good in PDH for sure. I could see that being really good in PDH. Glorious Gale. Goblin Assailant. It's just a vanilla 2. This is a bear? Hello? This is a red bear. The 2/2 for 2 bear. But it's a Goblin Warrior. Huh. Great Hall of the Citadel. We have a land. Kind of cool. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. You're right. Oh, so Gimli must Legolas must have black hair. Yeah. So there you go. Our land is you can tap to pay to add colorless, or pay 1 tap, add 2 mana in any combination of colors, spend only to cast legendary spells. This is going to be good for PDH, absolutely all day. 1 land to pay 2 mana. Well, you technically have to pay 1 to get 2, so it's like on rate with a lot of those other like rocks. But that's not bad. It's not bad. I believe a lot of those rocks that do, and there are those lands that come in. I can't remember. There are lands that you have to pay. You have to pay 1. No, those are signets, right? Hold on. These are uncommon normally. The signets are normally uncommon, which means you can't play them in PDH. But with this, you have a new land that you can play that kind of works like that. So that's kind of cool. Not bad. I could see that being an in for a lot of these PDH things, but that's it. Only in PDH. It's not going to go in Pauper. Greyhaven's Navigator. 2 and a blue for a 3/2 with flash. Greyhaven's Navigator enters the battlefield scry 1, another scry thing. So if you're going with Simic Scry in draft, probably pretty good. Probably not going to see much play in other formats, though. Harridan Spearmaster, 2 and a red for a 2/3. Reach at the beginning of combat on your turn. Another target creature you control gets +1/+0 till end of turn. Got reach, that's kind of neat. But on the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gets +1/+0. So it's a consistent buff, but it also dies to removal pretty early. So, Haunt of the Dead Marshes. Pay 1 black for a 1/1 Nightmare Elf. Haunt of the Dead Marshes enters the battlefield scry 1. Pay 2 and a black to return Haunt of the Dead Marshes from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Activate only if you control a legendary creature. I feel like maybe Golgari Elves might take advantage of that, but I don't think so. It's just a 1/1. You pay 3 to bring back a 1/1. And you have to have a legendary creature. So, I don't know if that's good. Hellflame Knot. A 1 and a blue. Tap target creature, scry 1, draw a card. How's this Sam tying up Column? So yeah, another scry thing. Draw a card, scry, it's pretty good. I think a lot of the blue stuff that came out of here, if you're trying to do like a scry deck, the blue stuff is really, really good. Hobbit Sting, pay 1 in a white for an instant. Hobbit Sting deals X damage to target creature, where X is the number of creatures you control plus the number of foods you control. So obviously token generation, huge in this one here. It's probably really, really good and limited. Hobbit Sting is probably really good and limited. But I don't know. I don't know how good it is constructed. I don't know how many people are just going to sit on like a bunch of food. But I don't know. Improvise Club of 1 in a red. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Improvise Club deals 4 damage to any target. I could see that being useful. I'd rather just play Shock, or not Shock, Lightning Bolt than this. Because you don't need to have a 2 cost. But I could see it being useful. Inherited Envelope. Pay 3. Inherited Envelope enters the battlefield. The ring tempts you. Add 1 mana of any color. Okay. Don't have the cash. Wonder how much singles will be. Well, I'm imagining singles are going to be pretty cheap, comparatively, honestly, because a lot of people are going to be opening the set, I think. More specifically, they're probably going to be opening the collector stuff, and then trying to push all their singles on market because, well, they're going to chase for the one ring and then they're never going to get it, so... But I think singles will be okay. I think the flavor of the set's really, really good. I like it a lot. But I definitely don't know. I imagine, well, first, I imagine the commons and the uncommons are going to be cheap. Because they always are. They're like cents to buy these things. So, theoretically, buying these cards is going to be really, really cheap. You can probably just get them in bulk piles. Isolation and Ornthok. A 3 and a blue. Put target creature into its owner's library second from the top. Not a problem. Not a problem. Thanks for stopping by, man. Target creature in its owner's library from the second from the top. Interesting. Could be good. Could not matter. It's expensive. I don't really like it. Athelian Kingfisher. 2 and a blue for a 2/1 flyer. When it dies, draw a card. Not good. Knight of the Keep. 2 and a white for a 3/2 vanilla creature. Garbage. Knights of Dolan Roth. 3 and a blue for a 3/3. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on the... That's kind of good. This is a kind of good common card. Because there's a lot of these, especially in Limited, a lot of these cards in blue scry and then draw. So, that's not bad. Lash of the Balrog. 1 black. Sorcery. Additional cost is to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature or pay 4. Destroy target creature. So it's either going to cost you a token and 1 black mana, or it's going to cost you 5 mana to destroy target creature. I feel like it can be good in certain situations because, you know, obviously 1 mana removal is super, super nice, but it's technically 2 cost. It technically costs more than that, so... yeah. Technically costs a little bit more than that, I would say. Lembas bread, cool. Pay 2 for an artifact food. Oh, it is a food. Oh, that's kind of fun. When Lembas enters the battlefield, scry 1, then draw a card. Pay 2 and tap to sacrifice Lembas, you gain 3 life. When Lembas is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, its owner shuffles it into their library. Ooh. That's a pretty good card. So you're telling me that this is a consistently reoccurring life gain that also gives you a scry and a draw anytime you play it for 2 mana. This actually isn't terrible, and it's a food, so like you can utilize this as food. Huh. Interesting. Lorraine revealed, pay 3 mana, 2 blue. Sorcery, draw 3 cards. Island cycling. Too expensive. I mean, drawing 3 cards for 5 isn't terrible. That is some good value, but I don't know. Whenever Lothrain Lookout attacks, scry 1. Again, another scry mechanic. It's alright, I guess. Many Partings. Pay a green sorcery, search your library for a basic land, reveal, put it to your hand, then shuffle and create a food token. So it's so you get to go search for a land and then create a food. Not terrible for 1. It's pretty good in limited. Not sure if it's going to see play in Pauper, though. Mirkwood Bats. This card, though, is definitely going to see play in Pauper. It's definitely going to see play in PDH, and it's probably going to see play in limited as well. Flying 2/3 for 4. Right, but whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. What? That's whack. Card's whack. That's like really, really good. It does die to removal, but like it's a pretty good card. Mirkwood Spider. Pay 1 for a 1/1. Death Touch Spider. Whenever it attacks, target legendary creature you control gains Death Touch until end of turn. Pretty good. Mirror Guardian. Pay 2 and a green. When it dies, the ring tempts you. So it's a 4/2 for 3. But when it dies, you get tempted, which is terrible. Alright. Last page here for the commons. We have Mordor Muster. Mordor Trebuchet. Oh, Mordor Muster. Let's go over this, right? Pay 1 and a black. Sorcery, you draw a card and you lose a life. Amass Orcs 1. Alright. Mordor Trebuchet, 2 and a black. Artifact creature Wall. The Wall. Defender, 1/4. Whenever you attack with 1 or more goblins and or orcs, create a 2/1 colorless construct artifact creature token with flying named Ballistic Boulder that's tapped and attacking. Sacrifice that token at the end of combat. That's pretty good. I mean, it's situational because it's goblins and or orcs. But I know there are cards that get rid of Defender. So, Morgul Knife Wound. Pay 1 in a black. Enchant creature. Enchant creature is -3, -0, and has at the beginning of your upkeep, exile this creature unless you pay 2 life. I can see that being useful. I can see that being useful. Not a bad aura. Like white-black enchantments or like Orzhov enchantments. Mushroom Watchdogs. 1 and a green, 2/2. Sacrifice a food, put a +1/+1 counter on Watchdogs. It gains vigilance till end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so you can sacrifice your food. You can sacrifice a food to give this +1/+1. I guess that's not awful, theoretically, from like a limited perspective, but I also don't think it's going to do too much. Nasty End. 1 in a black. There's an additional cost to cast the spell. Sacrifice a creature. Draw 2 cards. If the sacrifice creature was legendary, draw 3 cards. Huh. I guess that's not terrible. What is that? Deadly Dispute? That's just Deadly Dispute, but like you could also get 3 cards if it's legendary. It's not bad. Nimble Hobbit. Pay 1 in a black. Whenever Nimble Hobbit attacks, you may sacrifice a food or pay 2 in a white. When you do, tap target creature and opponent controls. A 1/3 for 2. That's not really super great. Nimrodal Watcher. 1 in a blue. When you scry, Nimrodal Watcher gets +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. Again, Simic Scry is going to be like the thing for this deck. Now for Wrath, now for Ruin. 3 in a white. Sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. They gain Vigilance until the end of turn. The ring tempts you. So every one of your creatures gets +1/+1 and Vigilance, but the Vigilance goes away, and you also get tempted. Not terrible, again, if you're running ring tempting decks. But otherwise, kind of okay. Oliphant, 5 and a red for a 6/4. Trample. Whenever Oliphant attacks, another target creature you control gets +2/+2 and trample until end of turn. It does have mountain cycling, which isn't terrible. I mean, it's expensive, right? And I don't think it's gonna get the job done, but it might. Olag High Crusher. 3 and a red. Trample. The 4/4, so it's a 4/4 for 4, so that's good. Trample, Olag High Crusher can't block unless you control a goblin or orc, so pretty situational. Orcish Medicine, 1 and a black. Target creature gains your choice of lifelink or indestructible until the end of turn. And then amass orcs 1. That's not bad for 2. Lifelink or indestructible. That's not terrible. It's a pretty good card. I can see that finding some use. Helgir Survivor, 1 and a blue for 1/3. Add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only cast an instant or sorcery. So it's a rock, which is cool. Or you can pay 5 and a blue to tap and target player mills 3 cards. I guess if you wanted to play mill. It's expensive mill, though. I don't know if that's worth it. Pippin's Bravery. So that's 1 green for an instant. You may sacrifice a food. If you do, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Otherwise, it just gets +2/+2. Could be huge for 1. For 1 green mana. Not bad, but it's alright. Protector of Gondor, 3 and a white. For 3/3. When Protector of Gondor enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Makes a body, is a 3/3, so it's technically a 4/4. It's good for humans. It's good if you're playing like human, a human deck, but not much else. Quarrel's End, 2 and a red. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards and create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. I guess to discard, it's not terrible. Just discard something you don't need, right? You get a token, and you get 2 cards. So, not bad. Rally at the Hornburg, 1 and a red. Create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. Humans you control gain haste till end of turn. So I see Boros Humans is going to be a thing to be running in draft. Relentless Rorim, 3 and a red. When Relentless Rorim enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Okay. Kind of bad. Kind of bad just because that's all it does. Revive the Shire, 1 in a green. Sorcery. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand to create a food token. Pretty good, actually. Not bad. Roaring Lancer, Menace. It's got a 1/1 for 1 Menace, and when it dies, the ring tempts you. This card's good. And anytime a card can be played for 1 mana and then has multiple abilities is really, really good. So like this one having Menace, being that it has to be blocked by 2 things, and if it dies, you get tempted by the ring. They're going to have to waste a resource on killing this. Or they don't kill it at all, and you don't get and you get the benefit of just being able to poke for 1. Rush the Room, 1 red. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike till end of turn. If it's a goblin or orc, it also gains haste until end of turn. I'm assuming Rakdos in this is going to be orc goblin. Like Rakdos is going to be like the Rakdos and probably Dimir are going to be the Sauron colors, or the whatever that is. Sam's Desperate Rescue, 1 black. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. The ring tempts you. Pretty good. 1 black. Pretty good. I like that. Second Breakfast, 2 and a white. Instant speed, up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+1 till end of turn. Create a food token. Not bad. like that too. She loves Ambush. 1 black. Target creature gets +1/+2 and gains Death Touch till end of turn. Create a food token. Okay. Okay, that's not bad. The Shire Scarecrow. Artifact creature. It pays 2 for a 0/3 defender. Artifact Scarecrow. So this will be nice for those Scarecrow decks. Pay 1 to add 1 mana of any color. Activate only once each turn. Alright. Shire Terrace. Tap to add a colorless. Pay 1 and tap. Sacrifice this. Search your library for basic tap. Okay. It's Terramorphic Expanse? No. No, I can't remember. But there's another land that works like this. Shower of Arrows, 2 and a green. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Try 1. Bad. Yeah, Simic Elves is going to be a big deal. Slip on the Ring, 1 and a white. Instant exile target creature you own, then return it to the battlefield under your control. The ring tempts you. More Ephemerate. So, probably going to get run in Ephemerate, especially with ring tempting. I think that's going to be pretty good. I expect this to see play. Smite the Deathless, 1 in a red. Smite the Deathless deals 3 damage to target creature. That creature loses indestructible until end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Okay. That's really good. It's really good. Gets rid of any indestructible. That's pretty nice. Oh, is that her killing Sauron right here? Yeah, it is. Snarling Warg, 3 and a black. For a 3/4 menace. As long as you control a goblin or orc, the Snarling Warg gets +1/+0. So, could possibly be a 4/4 for 4, which isn't bad, but... And the menace is fine, but again, pretty situational. So, Soldier of the Grey Host, 3 and a white flash, flying. When it enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+0 till end of turn. 2/2 for 4, though? Not worth it. Soothing of Smeagol. 1 in a blue. Return target non-token creature to its owner's hand. The ring tempts you. I think this ring mechanic is going to get out of hand pretty quick. But, you know, it's a bounce. It's a bounce mechanic that gives you a tempting. So, not bad. Stalwarts of Osgiliath? Osgiliath. 4 and a white for a 4/3. When they enter the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Stalwarts of Osgiliath. Surrounded by orcs, 3 and a blue. Amass orcs 3, then target player mills X cards where X is the amassed army's power. Wow. This actually could be really, really, really good. Because if you already have an amassed orc on the battlefield and you amass orcs 3, you're essentially just giving that same amassed orc 3 counters, which means if that one was already at like 4, if it was already like a 4/4 army, you could just give it 3 more, have it be a 7/7 army, and then have your opponent mill 7 cards. That's a huge win. I don't know if it'll see a lot of play. Again, like Dimir Orcs is probably going to be a big deal, but we'll see. Swarming of Moria, 2 and a... Oh, I love this scene with them crawling on the thing. 2 and a red. Create a treasure token. And then amass Orcs 2. A little much. The Black Breath, 2 and a black for sorcery. Creatures your opponent control get -1/-1 till end of turn. The ring tempts you. It's a good, like, board wipe-ish, but, like, not really anything crazy. Torment of Golem, 3 and a black. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Amass Orcs 2. It's, Duress. It's Duress, but with Amass Orcs, so a little bit more expensive. Took Reaper, 1 and a white. For when Took Reaper dies, the ring tempts you. Card kind of bad. Treason of Isengard. Put up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to the top of your library and Amass Orcs 2. Dude, I think Dimir Orcs is going to be wild. I think you can make like a pretty solid Dimir Orcs deck out of just these commons alone. The Troll of Khazad-dûm. 5 and a black. Troll of Khazad-dûm cannot be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. Swamp Cyclone. So it's a 6/5 for 6 that can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. It's expensive, but there's no quick way to get it out. I don't know if it's going to be worth it there. Uruk-hai Berserker, 2 and a black. When Uruk-hai Berserker enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Okay. War Beast of Gorgoroth, 4 and a red. Creature beast. Whenever War Beast of Gorgoroth or another creature you control with power 4 or greater dies, Amass Orc 2. Interesting. With power 4 or greater dies. So it's at least got like another ability, right? The Westfold Rider, 1 and a white. For sacrifice Westfold Rider, destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's okay. I don't see this being too bad. I mean, a 3/1 for 2 kind of sucks because it will die to like the easiest removal. But you can also sacrifice it in response to targeting to then just have it destroy something. So Willow Wind, 4 and a blue for flying. When Willow Wind enters the battlefield, scry 2. More scrying. But not super great. Wizard's Rockets. 1 mana. Wizard's Rocket enters the battlefield tapped. And then you can pay X and then tap to sacrifice Wizard's Rockets. Add X mana of any combination of colors. When it's put into the graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Huh. Interesting. Not sure how much play that's going to see. The Woes Pathfinder. 1 and a green to get 1 mana of any color. Or pay 6 and a green to tap to another target creature gets +3/+3 and tramples on card. This card's trash. Okay, so I think a ring tempting deck could be feasible. I think there's how many cards are there with the ring tempts you? You know, let me. Where's the ring in this one here? Oh, during. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 things that have you get the ring tempted in common. I'm so sorry. So 19 cards. 19 cards in common that allow you to tempt the ring. Let's see. Let's count them up actually. Can we do this by There's 4 white, 5, no, there's 4 blue, There's 4 black, or there's 4 black. There's 3 red. There's 3 green and a artifact. So theoretically, like, I think this card's going to see a lot of use. Flip on the ring. Orzhov Ephemerate's already a big deal. Ephemerate in general is a really, really big deal. I think. And the only reason that Ephemerate's good is because it's one white mana. But then you can also play it again in rebound. So Ephemerate is really, really good. This might not be as good simply because you do have to pay a little bit more, but not the worst. All right, let's take a look at the uncommon things that would work here. So there are 45 cards in the Lord of the Rings set that are creatures that are uncommon. These all have potential to be commanders for Pauper EDH. So going to go over them and see what they've got here. We've got Bill the Pony. Bill the Pony enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens. You then sacrifice a food until the end of turn. Target creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. So you could have like a big butts deck with Bill the Pony as your commander. But it also have to have food too, so not sure how that's going to work out. Eowyn, Lady of Rohan, is beginning your combat of your turn. Target creature gains your choice of first strike or vigilance until end of turn. If the creature is equipped, it gains first strike and vigilance until the end instead. Equip abilities you activate cost 1 less to activate. That's not too bad. That's kind of cool. So if it's equipped, it gets both, but you still get to choose one or the other. The 2/4 for 2. All right. Faramir Field Commander, 3 and a white. 3/3. Beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, draw a card. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you chose a creature other than Faramir Field Commander as your ring bearer, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Oh, okay. Landreval Horizon Witness, 4 and a white for a 3/4 flyer. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, target attacking creature without flying gains flying until the end of turn. Kind of cool. Rosy Cotton of South Lane, 2 and a white. Enters the battlefield, create a food. Whenever you create a token, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control other than Rosy. That's pretty good. I mean, it's a 1/1, so it's easily killed, but to be able to just constantly, if you want to make tokens, just to give +1/+1 counters, it's pretty good. Samwise the Stout-Hearted, 1 and a white for Halfling Peasant, 2/1. Flash, when Samwise the Stout-Hearted enters the battlefield, choose up to 1 target permanent in your graveyard that was put there from the battlefield this turn, return it to your hand, then the ring tempts you. Huh. That's kind of a cool way to like flash in something from the grave from your command zone. It's not terrible. Shire Sheriff, 1 and a white for 2/2. Vigilance. When Shire Sheriff enters the battlefield... Oh, Sheriff. I see. Sheriff. Stupid. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice a token. When you do, exile a target creature an opponent controls until this leaves the battlefield. Too expensive. Bill Fernie, Bree Swindler, 1 in a blue. Human Rogue. When Bill Fernie, Bree Swindler becomes blocked, choose 1. Create a treasure token. The target opponent gains control of target horse you control. If they do, remove Bill Fernie from combat and create 3 treasure tokens. What? There's got to be some lore behind that. That's wild. You can just give them a horse, and then you get 3 treasure tokens. Is that like a horse that's really, really bad to have? I wonder. Elrond, Lord of Rivendell. 2 in a blue. Elf Noble. When Elrond, Lord of Rivendell, or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, the ring tempts you. Okay, right, more scrying. The elves are big into scrying. Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, 3 in a blue. Flash, you may cast sorcery spells as though they have flash, which is really, really cool because that makes it instants. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gandalf, draw a card. That's actually really good. It's a little expensive, 4 for a 2/4, but you are able to play all of your sorceries as instants, which is kind of cool. Yorith of the Healing House, 2 in a blue. Legendary creature, Human Cleric. Untap to another target permanent, or untap 2 other target legendary creatures. Not a great commander. Melindor, Swift Savior, 3 in a blue. Bird Soldier, flying. So it's a 3/3 for 4. When Melindor, Swift Savior deals combat damage to a player, exile up to 1 target creature you own, and return it to the battlefield under your control. That's actually really good. I mean, if your opponent has no way to deal with flyers, and you're able to just get this out, you get it out, swing, flicker some stuff. Pretty good. Saruman the White, 4 and a blue. Or Ward 2, so it's a 5 mana 4/4. Ward 2, whenever you cast your second spell each turn, amass Orcs 2. That's actually really good. That's actually really good. Saruman the White? That's really good. Dang. Okay. I see you, Saruman. I see you. That card's good. Gollum Patient Plotter. 1 in a black. When Gollum Patient Plotter leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Okay, 1 black, sacrifice a creature, return Gollum from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. Gorebag of minus Morgul. Okay, 1 in a black. Whenever a goblin or orc you control deals combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice it. When you do, choose 1. Draw a card or create a charge token. Card sucks. Gothmog Morgul Lieutenant. 3 in a black for 3/3. When Gothmog Morgul Lieutenant enters the battlefield, amass Orcs 1. Creature tokens you control have Death Touch. Now, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I don't know if that's worth it. Because amassing Orcs 1 is just kind of meh. You essentially just make a Death Touch creature for 4 mana. And then, obviously, commander attacks. Grima Wormtongue, 2 in a black. Your opponent can't gain life. And then you can tap this to sacrifice another creature. Target player loses 1 life. If the sacrificed creature was legendary, amass Orcs 2. Ooh. Huh. Ooh, Nazgul? Nazgul's in here. 2 and a black for a creature, Wraith Knight. Death Touch. When Nazgul enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, put a +1/+1 counter on each Wraith you control. Deck can have up to 9 cards named Nazgul. Well, I don't think we'd be able to have 9 Nazguls. I don't think that's how that works. Voracious Fellbeast, 4 mana and 4 generic and 2 black for 4/4. Already off rate. Flying, when it enters the battlefield, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Create a food token for each sacrifice this way. Not terrible, though, because they do have to sacrifice a creature, but they don't have much opportunity, I think. Aemir of the Riddler Mark. Sorry. 4 and a 4 and a red for 5/4. 4 and a red for a 5/4. Haste. When Aemir of the Riddler Mark attacks, if you control a creature with greater power among creatures in the battlefield. If you control a creature with the greatest power among creatures in the battlefield, create a 1/1 White Human Soldier token. That's a lot of work to get a 1/1. Card kind of sucks. Eric Brand, Lord of Westfold. 3 and a red. 3/3. Whenever Eric Brand, Lord of Westfold, or another human enters the battlefield under your control, creatures you control get +1/+0 till end of turn. Nah. Counter of kills. 3 and a 3 and a red. Trample. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, does 1 damage to that creature control. Kind of good. Kind of a good way to get some extra ping damage off. Goblin Fire Leaper. 1 in a 1 in a red. A 1 and then a red. You get +1/+0 till end of turn. When it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature and opponent. This is like a mix between Fireblade Charger and Goblin or Warcry Goblin. Battlecry Goblin. Grishnak Brash Instigator. A 2 and a red. When Grishnak Brash Instigator enters the battlefield, amass Orcs 2. When you do, until end of turn, gain control of target non-legendary creature and opponent controls with power less than or equal to the amassed army's power. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. Wow. That's pretty good. You're able to take a non-legendary creature from your opponent with power less than or equal to the amassed army's power. So if you can get an army pretty high up there in power, you can make this work, but I don't think that'll be the case. Celeborn the Wise, 3 and a green. For 3/3, whenever you attack with 1 or more elves, scry 1. Whenever you scry, Celeborn the Wise gets +1/+1 till the end of turn for each card looked at while scrying. Till end of turn. Dundane Rangers, 3 and a 3 and a green. Got Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you don't control a ring bearer, the ring tempts you. Huh. Kind of cool. Glorfindel Dauntless Rescuer, 2 and a green. For 3/2, whenever you scry, choose 1, and Glorfindel Dauntless Rescuer gets +1 until end of turn. Must be blocked this turn if able. And can't be blocked by more than 1 creature each combat this turn. Card kind of sucks. Meriadoc Brandybuck, 1 and a green. Whenever 1 or more halflings you control attack a player, create a food token. That's kind of cool. Peregrine Took, 2 and a green. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus an additional food token are created instead. Sacrifice 3 foods to draw a card. So, Meriadoc Brandybuck and Peregrine Took very well could have a great connection with each other. Quick Beam, Upstart Ent, 4 and 2 green for a 5/6. Whenever Quick Beam, Upstart Ent, or another tree folk enters the battlefield under your control, up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+2 and trample till end of turn. Too specific. Dwyer the Windlord, 4 and a green and, I'm sorry, 4 white and blue. So Azorius there. 4/4. So 6 mana, 4/4. Spell costs 2 less to cast free, as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. So I guess that's okay. Flying Vigilance. Other birds you control have Vigilance. Now that's not terrible, right? There's a lot of birds in white and in blue. So this isn't actually bad. Especially since you can essentially just like remove some of that tax from there. Prince Emerald the Fair, just white and blue. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 hue. Ooh, this is actually kind of good. 2/2 for 2 that lets you make a white human soldier creature token whenever you draw your second card. Blue likes to draw cards, so that's definitely something that's going to be utilized there. The Mouth of Sauron, 3, a blue and a black. Whenever the Mouth of Sauron enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards, then amass Orcs X, where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in that player's graveyard. Ooh. That's kind of fun. I like that too. It's actually pretty good. Mahur Urukai champion or captain. This is a black and red menace 2/2. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on an army, goblin, or orc you control, that many +1/+1 counters are put on it instead. That many +1/+1/+1 counters are put on it instead. So you get an additional one. So anytime you amass 2. Or you amass 1 extra. Kind of cool. This is great for amass decks. Wonder how many of those there will be. Ugluk of the White Hand, 2, a black and a red. Legendary creature Orc Soldier. Whenever another creature you control dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Ugluk of the White Hand. If that creature was a goblin or an orc, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Ugluk instead. Strider Ranger of the North, 2 and red and green. Landfall. It was on par here with a 4/4. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Then if that creature had power 4 or greater, against first strike till end of turn. Nah, I guess that's okay. Butterbur Innkeeper. 2 mana, green and white. At the beginning of your end step, if you don't control a food, create a food. Kind of cool. Definitely is important for the food stuff. Frodo Baggins, green and white. 1/3. Whenever Frodo Baggins or another legendary creature enters the battlefield under your control, the ring tempts you. As long as Frodo is your ring bearer, it must be blocked if able. Pretty cool. Denethor, Ruling Steward, 1 white and black, legendary creature Human Noble. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, create a 1/1 white Human Soldier creature token. Pay 2 to sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. That's nice. That's a cool commander. You essentially can make a white human soldier, do other stuff on your turn, and then you can either throw stuff in to swing for damage, and if they're able to get damage off, you can then pay 2 to deal another damage and gain a life, and then still get another soldier. Correct. Bilbo Retired Burglar, 1, a blue and a red. When Bilbo Retired Burglar enters or leaves the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Whenever Bilbo deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. That's pretty good. Especially if you can make him unblockable. Really nice. Old Man Willow, 2, a black and a green. Legendary creature Treefolk. Old Man Willow's power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Whenever Old Man Willow attacks, you may sacrifice another creature or a token. When you do, target creature and opponent controls gets -2/-2 until end of turn. Card's kind of bad. Shadowfax, Lord of Horses, 3, a red and a 3 red and white. Horses you control have haste. Whenever Shadowfax, Lord of Horses attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser power from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacked. Shadowfax is huge for PDH. Theoden, King of Rohan. When Theoden, King of Rohan, or another human enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gains double strike until end of turn. Or another human enters the battlefield under your control. Kind of cool. Double strikers? Some Boros equipment double strikers? Like, sounds good to me. There's Arwen here. Green and a blue. Gets +1/+1 when she scries on target creature, which is pretty cool. Legolas counter. They did give him black hair. That's very interesting. Yeah, Legolas counter of kills. 2 green and a blue. Elf Archer. Reach. Whenever you scry Legolas counter of kills is tapped, you may untap it. Do this only once each turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a +1/+1 counter on Legolas. Okay. Okay. That's not too bad. Seems better than Gimli. Shadowfax, though? How many horses are in here? C, or rarity equals C. Horse. Is it type horse? Yeah. So this is technically considered a horse. So there's a horse, horse. How many horses? 15 cards. There's only 15 horses. You can't run that. 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 Can't run any of these or any of these. The only horse you can run in common is this one, the Chrome Steed. This one, the Clockwork Steed. And then Trenching Steed, Hyperion, and Armored Warhorse. So, sorry, Shadowfax, you're just not good for Pauper. Unfortunate. Well, okay. Well, that wasn't too bad. We kind of found some good stuff out of that. I am really curious to see how the Ring Tempts You is going to be utilized in this set, because there is, you know, when we last saw Initiative was a pretty big deal in which people were able to utilize those combos over and over and over again, essentially being able to pop the things back and then play them consistently and literally just be able to do the Initiative a bunch of different times. And the Initiative is really, really huge because there's, you know, if you're able to consistently make it happen, you're going to be able to consistently make your opponent lose life. You get to draw cards. You get to do a whole bunch of this other stuff. And, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. So, it's, I don't know. I'm curious what it's gonna do. So, but I think we're probably gonna be done for right now. We were just doing a quick little video where I wanted to review some of the you know, little knickknacks here and there of what is in Lord of the Rings in the new set. Some of the new commons and uncommons you'll be seeing. So either stuff's really going to be good in limited, or it's really going to be good in draft, or not draft. I meant Pauper. That's the word. It's either really going to be really, really good in draft, or it's going to be good in Pauper, or it's more specifically for Pauper EDH. But again, a lot of the cards I saw, I was happy to see that a lot of the cards had the tempting ring mechanic. I wasn't sure if they were going to omit that from common cards, but it wouldn't make any sense to do that because the draft, you're going to want cards that tempt. And so from a draft perspective, they had to give these cards tempt, but I'm curious what that's going to mean for Pauper, mainly because Pauper is, you know, Initiative kind of made Pauper a very, very weird place. So because of that, I don't really expect a lot from it there. So, but yeah, that's kind of my whole thing there. I've got a bunch of awesome information out of this in regards to like what I'm looking for, I guess, from the set. Because there's certainly a lot of cards in uncommon and common that could like do stuff, right? That like they can work well together. For instance, I mean, a lot, you kind of can tell like what the colors are based off of immediately. How, you know, Rakdos is gonna be goblins and orcs, and Dimir is going to be orcs and like counter spells, like Sauron stuff, not Sauron, Saruman stuff. Simic is elves. Boros is humans. Then you have things like Selesnya being hobbits and food-related things. You have what are some other ones that I'm losing? I'm completely forgetting. Orzhov is still very much so like it's like aristocrat-esque, right? Very much so like kill spells with humans. Then you also can amass still. So there's opportunity for a lot of stuff there, but I think I kind of got the general hang of things here. A lot of the cards look really, really good, and frankly, they're probably going to be extremely, extremely cheap because that's just how this works. People are going to not even bother looking at commons. They're going to only care about the rares, and that in and of itself is going to cause for these cards to be pretty cheap. So if you are looking to pick up any of these uncommons or commons when the set comes out and you're able to take a look at them and get them into your own hands, just think about what you're able to do with those commons and uncommons and how you can possibly utilize them to the best of your ability. But thank you guys so much for watching, right? Yeah, not a problem. It's absolutely been super great. So I'm excited to buy some singles and get some stuff going there. And then who knows, right? Maybe in due time there will be some Lord of the Rings offer deck or some, maybe we'll start seeing a lot of these Lord of the Ring cards really do some hard work into the format. But we'll see, But I'm actually going to go ahead and get on out of here, right? And I got some other stuff I have to work on around here. And then I should be good for the day. But hopefully I'll have a video out for you guys sometime soon here. Of course, as per usual, if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so. And, continue to comment on the videos. Let me know what you guys think about it. And, yeah, I'll see you guys all very soon. All right, everybody. Nerd out.